Duncan. The Germans once again saying the Greeks have got to do more. Ashraf Laidi, Chief Global Strategist at City Index. Do you agree or not?
Yes, they will have to do more because of the acrobats that we've been seeing over the last few weeks. And in order to get at least this basically a 75% participation is just a way for Greece to get 130 billion euro bailout, which would enable it to meet the payment later this month. And because the debt burden of the country still remains quite large, and even to target 120% debt to GDP ratio may still not do the trick, because looking at the denominator part, at the GDP part, that also needs to start to grow. And all of the talks we've been talking about right now, it's been having to reduce the denominator, which is the debt part aspect. But it is a good deal. It is getting Greece head forward. Then the next question is going to be what would the new government do or agree on at the next elections?
Well, that's the key, isn't it? Because we can meet this March debt payment now, as long as that 130 billion euro is provided. But will the Greek people themselves accept the status quo, which is ultimately continued devaluation of salaries and incomes, rather than perhaps the alternative, leaving the Eurozone and devaluing their currency to regain competitiveness?
We think that the repercussions of Greece leaving the Eurozone, and even the repercussions on the country, on the payments and on the obligations being converted into non-euros, into a drachma, the implications on the paper that is owned by the ECB, they are quite large. And we think that the politicians have been showing us a knack, even though outside the parliament there's been a violence, an escalation of the violence. There have been a knack to try to get the people to vote for these policies, which you mentioned in your show, to what extent of job losses and what extent of the salary cuts. But I think is that what we have learned over the last few years is that what tends to weigh on the euro sometimes, it's not just the euro itself, but it's the global idea of risk appetite. Anything that would be sort of boosting the US dollar or weighing on risk appetite and weighing on risk appetite and leading to risk aversion will tend to weigh on the euro itself as the currency, will tend to boost the yields, and will tend to bring this story back to the fore, which did not really disappear when the euro was nearly 134, when we were seeing the best days of the LTRO.
Yeah, we've got to leave it there. We're about to lose your line. Thank you so much indeed for your comments today. Ashraf Laidi, Chief Global Strategist at City Index.